Okay, guys, welcome to a JFH development session, and we are with Bentley. As you guys have been seeing in the JFH Hero season, we have Bentley here, and it's a real honor because Bentley is a seasoned martial artist. He's a professional actor, and he has come to the Justice for Hire community, creating his own character, which is also called Bentley. And so it's really amazing to see how he's allowed himself to create this persona, this like I play Jan, a fictionalized version of myself in the Justice for Hire series. So Bentley plays Bentley, but he's got a little bit more of a villainous edge to what he's doing, and I think it's so interesting now that we're in post production on a new episode. So we've seen Bentley in three episodes so far in the episodes 3, 4, and 5 of JFH Hero season. So there's another episode coming out with Bentley, which is an action scene between him and Dredd. And we need to figure out some backstory stuff so that the voiceovers in the episode are reflective of how Bentley wants his character portrayed. So the goal of this development session is more focused than some of our previous development sessions because we have an episode that is being cut right now. So Bentley, I would love to explore some of your backstory, and for everyone who's watching this, in justiceforhire.app, you go there, you create a character, you join the cinematic universe. There's a section on your profile that says backstory, and you can write something in your notepad or somewhere else, and then you can just copy paste it into the backstory, and that way when people visit your profile on the app, they'll see and get an understanding of where your character comes from, which is super helpful for creators across the community to be able to plan around your backstory. So right now with Bentley's profile, obviously he's been very collaborative in creating and bringing his character into the storyline that we're editing right now. We've been releasing, but we need to have more of what Bentley is envisioning for his character, not only what happened in the past and what led to the character being more villainous now, but also where he wants the character to go. So I think where we want the character to go is more for you, Bentley, and for me to know. And we got Autumn in the background, aka Wonder. So that's more for us to know, but the backstory is definitively something that we want to make concrete so that, again, we can reference it in the episode voiceovers, and also ideally that you can go log into your Justice for Hire account and just copy paste, a few paragraphs of what this is work that obviously for folks who are watching this and these learning experiences that we share, these development sessions that everyone is gracious enough to share with the community. The concept is that an actor is going to do the work. They're going to do their own backstory work, their own research for their character. When they come to set, there are secrets that only an actor knows about a character. And that is part of what allows us as the audience to feel emotional depth. So the cool thing about comic books, and video games and all that, all these culture lore, is that we get more access to the characters that we dive into and can really appreciate. So this is an example of just an opportunity for us to dive deeper. So with all that said, Bentley, I would love to know, can you describe Bentley for us, the Justice for Hire in character Bentley? Can you describe it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm having a blast here, and sorry for the setup here. Finished work in the car, so mobile office. But here we are. So basically, my character Bentley is what you would say a bit of a bounty hunter, bit of a gambler, and somebody who has friends everywhere where he goes, but no serious connections, as in like there's no real love life, there's no real close friendships with anybody. It's more like acquaintances with everyone. Because Bentley's character never wants to get to the top of a certain responsibility. He always wants to be able to do what he ever needs to do, and then after say, okay, walk. I'm out of here. I don't need to be involved. He
No,
wants to
pause
keep
one
away
second.
from the responsibilities.
Hey everyone, we took a little pause because my son called and Jet is on here with us right now. And so family first. I always say this for everybody, it's always making sure that you make time for your family first. I wouldn't be doing real world justice for hire if it wasn't for my son at this point in my life. Because to me, it's like, how do I best contribute to Earth? And so this is a big deal. So Bentley was giving us a breakdown of who Bentley is. And I was actually starting to take notes. Bentley, the character, in character. We always talk in character and out of character here. And so I'm putting JFH Dev Call Bentley in my notes right now. And what I have so far is that Bentley is a bounty hunter, a gambler, a Bentley, a gambler and a bounty hunter, and has no real personal connections. So is that in terms of personal connections, like a love life, no love life,
There you go.
no
Yeah, no.
no heart allegiances.
There you go. No allegiances. That's what it is. No allegiances. Basically, you could say kind of a self-centered guy where I'm off to the next adventure, and therefore a freelance kind of person. I can do whatever I want, and so that's why there's nothing holding me back.
So this is really interesting because I mean, especially with the theme of Jet calling right now, when it comes to family, what is Bentley's backstory in terms of his family?
Bentley's backstory with his family is born and raised, 18 years old, out of the house, and that's it. And the family just said, "You're on your own now, buddy. Get out there." And so that's why I just don't have any allegiances. I was at a young age, just like you would say, throw the fish in the water, go figure it out, get out of here. And that's where I'm at. So I'm able to have and create my own destiny, my own universe, but at the same time too, as a gambler, as a bounty hunter, there is nothing where I could ever get a threat from one of the opposing bad guys, like, "I'm coming after your family." I don't have anything. There's nothing. It's just me. And so that's one of the things as Bentley, the character, where I'm pretty fearless, because at the end, I'm just like, well, it's just me. There's nothing else. So what are they going to do to me? It's just me. I don't have any, as you would say, anything of a concern.
So those are two interesting questions that arise from that. One is this actually a stack of questions about family. I still have more questions about some of what you might think there, but I think that before I ask that, which is more dense, is there anything that Bentley wants? Does he want to have those connections? Is there a desire for that, or is there a desire for something else?
That's a good question. I would say open-minded to it, but at the same time too, not ready. I enjoy my freedom and not having so much of the responsibility. A lot of times I think about like in myself and my martial arts. I'm a purple belt, and the teacher wants to promote me to a brown belt. And I keep telling the teacher, I don't want a promotion. Like, it's okay. I take my time. I don't want the promotion, because along with the promotion, what comes with that? Responsibility. I have to lead by example, to the other students below me. And I right now, in my martial arts area or anything in life in general, I'm having fun, and I feel still like a kid. So when I'm like with the white belts and guys below me, I feel like we're the same. I'm just having fun. Yet I have the experience and I know, but at the same time too, I do enjoy not having that responsibility of where, hey, I have to do certain things away, because once you're a black belt or a professor, there are examples and things you have to lead by, no matter what. That's the code. And in my case, I'm avoiding getting that promotion. I just love being able to have my fun, roll in class. I'm up there with the black belt guys, wrestling with them, but at the same time too, I don't have the responsibility. So therefore, When class is done, I could leave. I don't have to worry about anything. And that's as well too with the personal life. I'm able to get up and go, travel, do whatever I like. And so that's the one thing as my character being a gambler, a bounty hunter. There's no allegiance. There's no real loyalties. It's more like, hey, how much money am I going to get out of this? And I enjoy my traveling and my freedom. And along that journey, let's see what happens.
So there's a lot that came to me that I want to see if this aligns and resonates with you. And before I say any of this, I have to throw out the little note. The Jet is in jujitsu now, also.
Awesome, yeah, welcome.
He started in late August after you saw him, and so I'm really happy he's loving it. And Jet, you know, I am thinking that you probably should draw a little a piece of art for Coach Tony for Christmas. He'd probably love that.
Like I did for last year for my old kung fu teachers.
Yeah, you should probably draw something for him. I think that he would really appreciate that. And you may want to even start now while we're on the call after you finish your frog. Do an origami frog. So
It's going to be my fourth one making.
yep. So Bentley,
Nice.
there's a joy. There's a joy. How would I put it? There's a smoothness to your character, and I still want to ask that question about family. But I want to go off a vibe right now. There's a vibe. There's almost kind of a bad James Bond.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and like that's kind of how I feel when I look at you, because you have this very bright smile. You know, when James Bond, you have this very bright smile. You have a really great energy when you enter a space. But there's also what James Bond doesn't have. James Bond is oftentimes by nature of his form, his body, unassuming. You don't necessarily expect James Bond to be dynamic. With your form, with your body, you look formidable. You walk into a space and people can feel strength already, and it's part of your how you carry yourself. And so behind the smile, there's also a sense that at any moment this guy could take me down, and I love that about the character. You know, I think Bentley out of character, like, there's lots of joy and fun, and you feel like a party could happen with you. But Bentley in character feels like, man, like this something could go down if I say the wrong thing. And I love that about the character, and I'm wondering, connecting back to my original series of questions about family, what would you say were Bentley's relationships with his mother, his father, and if he has any siblings? What were each one of those relationships like? What is the relationship to mom for Bentley?
Yeah. Oh, good question. Yeah. The relationships were grew up in a, what you would say, maybe traditional household. Mom would stay home, cook, clean, take care of the house. Dad would come home from work, and but very strict upbringing, discipline. So growing up, I was always wake up early in the morning. Hey, do your chores. And when you're an adult, you need to go create your own world. You need to get out there. You know, you can't be living here. It's a privilege to have a roof over your head. It's a privilege to get a ice cream or cookies. You know, like things like that. It was a big deal growing up. But along with that discipline growing up, that's what made me today where I'm 100%, 100%. What would be self-made, everything 100% on my own. I would. I'm trying to think of the word. What is it? Independent? There you go. 100% independent. And so therefore, as Bentley, the character and the person, I don't answer to nobody. I make my own schedule, my own rules. I do everything for myself. And so therefore, the nice part about that is I don't have to worry about siblings or worry about, oh, what am I going to do for my parents? Nothing like that. I was raised where, again, my father, hey, once you're an adult, you need to go and create your own world. You're on your own now. I have siblings, and we're all the same way. I do have an older brother, but we're different. My older brother's married with a family and kids, so you know he can't. He's got big responsibilities, and so that's why with me, I'm like, okay, I'm good on my own. I again, my number one thing is I love my freedom and able to just like the Kung Fu series, walk the earth, go where I need to go. And before pandemic, I would travel a lot to Asia, very involved with the Asian community. And let's see, maybe by next year, it's getting easier to travel again. And if I have the time, I'll return to China or Japan. And I have a lot of strong ties and roots in the Asian community. Even though I'm not Asian, I grew up in it. I grew up in the Asian community. And so that's another thing where I just have tons of friends through Asia. And who knows? Maybe another time I was involved, but at this point in time in my life, again, I do a lot of traveling to Asia, and my backstory would be probably like living in my free time in the monasteries of the Buddhist monks or something like that, you know. That's what I could think of as the first thing. You know, kind of like when you saw Rambo, he's living in Thailand. I've been there. I've been to those places. It's beautiful. I love that stuff.
So this is really what this is really like, I'm getting chills right now. The reason I'm getting chills is because I feel like I love seeing something I haven't seen before. And it makes me feel like I'm on the right path, you know, in life. So right now we have a character Bentley, who is framed as a hero turned thief. So a good guy turned bad guy. However, because of how you view the world, I love that there's no part of the backstory where this horrible thing happened to me and I became this bad thing. It's not like that. Instead of that, what you have is choice. And choice allowed you to find things such as, let's say, gambling. In a household where discipline was strict and joy was a privilege. That's what it seemed like. Small little treats were a privilege.
Yes.
For you, you found that you had access to other things that your father and your mother didn't have access to. You played with these things. You drew enjoyment from them. So let's say gambling, and you realize that if there's this narrative that you're supposed to make it on your own and you're on your own at this age, then you are going to choose the things that make you feel good, that don't have necessarily the same type of pressurized by let's say your family, by your parents. And so if I'm out of alignment here at all, so it seems like Bentley has, similar to a kung fu monk walking the earth, because when you talk,
really.
I trained in Shaolin, under Shaolin monks, and I always loved how there's a centeredness to the perspective of an action. The action is neither good nor bad, like the lens from which they'll view it. It is action. And so it seems to me that the action you're taking for enjoyment and self-preservation isn't necessarily viewed as evil by you or bad. So it's not villainous to you. It's you living your life and making your choices. And I think that is a really interesting way. I think the best villains, including the Joker, my favorite villain on screen ever probably is Heath Ledger's Joker.
We're fantastic.
Really amazing. And my favorite comic book villain, which I'll just come over and show real quick, is the Batman who laughs over it. So this is the infected Batman from Dark Knight. This is Batman after he's killed the Joker and becomes possessed by like a toxin that turns him into a Joker. And this is his transformation into finally the Batman who laughs.
Dad, I gotta go.
Okay, love you, buddy.
Love you.
Talk to you
later, Dad.
Bye.
So, like, the really interesting thing about this character is is the full acceptance. Like the reason I love that character, the reason I have it here and next to spiritual objects, is that there's an acceptance of a version of oneself, and to when removing the layers of good and evil, the lens of good and evil, and saying, I'm going to accept this version of myself and I'm going to fully accept it, there's a power in that. And so rather than framing, the best villains don't think of themselves as bad. They think of themselves as right with a unique perspective. And so I love the idea of a almost Sagat like character, you know,
Ah,
really, because you have the look, and to have this like Sagat like character who is truly like, I'm not sure if you've ever read any of the Street Fighter comics. They're amazing.
I watched. I did read the comics, but back then, in the early '90s, when they had some anime like specials in Japanese and all that, I did watch those back then. So I'm familiar with a little stuff here and there. Yeah. Oh, I love all that. Yeah.
I highly recommend the Street Fighter comics from Udon, Udon Entertainment.
Ooh.
They're amazing, and they really dive into aspects of each character, like personal aspects, especially with Sagat. For this this example, the concept of him being someone who cared so much about his art, and when he was beaten by Ryu, he was humbled in a way.
Star. Yeah.
He was humbled, and he's not actually like a big bad guy. He's someone who's got a very particular perspective of the world, and I just think that's so cool for us to be able to look into this next Justice for Hire episode. Again, this whole development call is kind of
awesome.
going into an episode that goes into your backstory, that talks about your backstory, talks about your training. Hence me asking you for the clips of you training. And so
yeah.
when we, and I want to use some AI as well. If you have any photos from your childhood, etc., that you would be willing to share, I would love to process some of those and to tie it all together with the action scenes and your voiceover, which you will discuss in a bit, but a voiceover of you painting the backstory of Bentley and how certain moments in your life led to certain techniques that you're doing in the fight. And so
very cool.
I've never seen an action. The closest action scene I've ever seen to that is Robert Downey Jr. Remember we talked about this, Robert Downey Jr.'s Wing Chun fight scenes in Sherlock Holmes, where it's all super slow motion, and he's talking about what a technique will do to the opponent, and that's as deep as. But for us, instead of talking about what the technique's going to do, we're talking about the evolution to the technique and the choice to utilize that technique to give us deeper insight into character. And I think that's really freaking awesome. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I'd love for us to achieve that and be able to add something new to martial arts cinema. So I really look at this backstory conversation as pivotal to achieve that, because without the depth of understanding of the type of character you are, where we could improperly frame the character as a bad guy. And so like having more of a monk-like understanding of the character, like, okay, this guy is actually taking the action that he feels is best suited for him. And while we believe, let's say with Justice for Hire, that we should be taking action that's best suited for all of us rather than just one person, everyone needs to agree with that. And I think that's where really interesting conflict comes in, because it's not someone acting all crazy, like I'm a bad guy and I'm going to take this for me. It's like, no, what I felt like I needed to do. This is how I live. And there's a purity to this perceived villainy. And hence me talking about the Joker, the purity in the Joker's perspective of his relationship with Batman, and him as a counterbalance, like yang to the yin, so to speak. So I just think this is really interesting, and I'm wondering what aspects are there any things that you would like backstory wise to be highlighted in this episode, in this action scene, that that you might think that, let's say, an audience member would like to know about Bentley? Like, are there a few, let's say, 1 to 3 key moments, backstory moments that you think would be interesting for a person to know about Bentley?
Wow. I would say gambling as a big party animal, but not anymore. uh, yeah, one time a very big party animal, but no more now. I just got tired of it. Another thing would be the traveling, my involvement in the Asian community. I would stay out there and travel, and I in Thailand play with the tigers, go swimming with the turtles. Japan, going to the Shinto shrines, and in China, visiting Forbidden City. I have friends in Beijing, in China, and Shanghai. I'm a big city person when I'm out there, and also along like Taiwan. A lot with the Asian community, I would say, a lot. And I would say that's where I learned a lot of the honor and discipline from. A lot from there, a lot from the Asian community. So basically an example would be, okay, I'm a gambler. If I make a failure or a mistake, I own it. I don't run away from it, and I admit to it and I do it. And yet I've been able to have a charm where if I had made a mistake or lost, I'm able to admit to it, and a normal person would have to pay up. In my case, since I was just so honest and charming and upfront, they've like washed it away and said, all right, just don't do it again now. So those are certain things that I've been able to build and be able to do just by living a certain code, as in just being upfront, being honest. Driving crazy. I had a lot of sports cars. Police pull me over, tell me, hey, I could tow your car. You're driving like a maniac. And I'm able to kind of talk my way and just admit to the problem and just say, hey, I'm really sorry, and I understand, and you let me know what you need me to do. And at the end, the police have said, all right, you know what? Go ahead. Don't worry about it. Just go home. So just certain things like that with that code of honor, discipline. That's where I really got from the Asian community, especially like in Japan and China. It's a big thing in the Asian community, I would say.
Mm.
And another thing, my word. If I give my word, that's the contract. That's everything. If I say I'm going to do it, I do it. If I honor my word or by a handshake, that means it's honored. It's getting done. And those are simple things like that where not too many people or maybe other characters will do that. And in my case, I will own up to it and do it.
Huh. So this is interesting to me then. So I think there's a, I'll say first, do you have any footage of gambling, partying, or being in Asia?
I'll get that to you. I get through the Instagram.
Okay, footage or photos?
Well, I got footage, video.
Okay, great. Yeah, anything we can use, and obviously anyone who's in it that we don't have the right to utilize will crop them out or somehow.
Yeah, we could crop them out. Yeah. I got plenty of video, like Instagram clips I could send to you, and yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. Thank you. So because and specifically for those 3 points, partying, gambling, and traveling. And I love the idea of the learnings in Asia, and being able to tie some of the learnings in Asia to some of the martial techniques you're doing.
Yeah, that would work.
Like literally using, like, in character in the story, maybe you learned some of that, one of those techniques while traveling in Asia.
Yeah, that's great.
Like, I just think that's really, really cool. And to use that as a bridge to experience. I keep on pulling, and I'm so happy that I'm here in this. I'm very, very grateful for these resources of stories that inspire me that I can share with you. But this is Superman Meshi, and Superman is flying around Japan, going to different fast food restaurants, eating. That's the whole book. The whole book.
Wow, no way.
And it's awesome. And so the reason I'm talking about this is because the food is allows us to go deeper into his personality that I've
Huh.
never seen Superman like this at all. When he talks about flavor exploding in his mouth and like and the different feelings and sensory experiences he's having, you're seeing a side of Superman that you don't normally see. So
No.
how can we utilize your memory? We utilize the martial arts technique to bring up a memory. And then how can we utilize the memory to explore the character? And when we explore the character, then we create a stronger endearment for the audience to the character, a stronger connection. And then we pull back out and we're still in the fight. So I think that pattern, to achieve that pattern, that to me is the goal of this episode, is to achieve a rhythm with using a single martial arts moment to catalyze a memory, to connect to a certain moment in your life. So maybe the rear naked choke is something that you had to utilize after at a party or at a gambling experience. But I like the idea of you being able to get out of challenging scenarios because of charm and honesty. And so that brings me now to my next question. And my next question is your word. So when you say your word, you say it, you do it. I want to make sure that we can clarify the um, how your actions are still aligned with that principle rather than being at odds with it. And what I mean by that is that you join Justice for Hire as a hero. You're taking actions that may not be considered heroic or not considered heroic. So how can we tie together your sense, your word, to, and I think it's coming to me in based on something you said earlier, but to your actions, meaning that like if you signed up as a hero, but now you're not doing heroic things, why?
Yeah.
That seems like it's at odds. However, if you simply didn't, if you simply looked at Justice for Hire as a gig economy app, and you joined for gigs, and you realized that there was a better gig, you didn't have the justification. Your reasoning could be that I looked at this app as a gig app. Maybe I didn't read the fine print, and for that I apologize. You know,
Yeah.
and
That's a good one.
simply
Yeah.
and to charmingly say, I'm making these choices. I didn't realize this was against the rules of your app. It is not my intention to go against the app here, but it seems like now I have heroes that wanting to fight me, and that's not necessary. But if you wish to fight, here I am. You
There
know,
you go. That works. There you go.
I love the idea of a character who just does not, he's not a bad guy. He just does what he feels is the thing he needs to do. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then there are characters that like him so much, like, damn man, I don't want to fight this guy, but we gotta fight this guy. Like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that to me is like awesome. And it also brings up interesting conversation and opportunities for conversation with later scenes and because everything we're doing right now, like this is not like a web series, like the concept here is a multi-year plan to build from. Right now we're releasing short form content. Within 20 weeks, within 17 weeks, we're going to be releasing longer form content because it's already shot. So like cinema content's already shot. And then from after that season, the more cinematic, wider screen season, then we're going to have longer form episodes. And that's the stuff we're working on now so that we can keep on bringing these characters like your character back into the fold, into the stories, and keep on expanding over the course of multiple years and building up to feature films, etc. So
Oh yeah. Awesome.
there's a multi-year vision with this stuff, and I just love the idea of a character that we want to talk to. It's like you're rational enough to be able to have a conversation with, and heroes doing their best to convince you that your way is not the right way because perhaps it's not thinking toward the larger the benefit of everybody. It's thinking about the benefit of you. So there's
There you go.
they
Yes.
might identify that as the key issue. It's like, well, hey, but you're thinking about you rather than thinking about all of us and how one choice.
There you go.
And so it's like, okay, that's actually the core problem. And
Yeah.
how can we convince this guy otherwise? And if he's like, if Bentley says, well, I'm going to steal this diamond anyway, because like this is the job that I've been hired for. So please respectfully move out of my way. And the hero being
There
able
you go.
to do that. And so you're like, well, here I am. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's just great. It's great. It's great for the physical, for the fighting to be based on having no other option because we've exhausted the exploration of principles. We've
Yes.
exhausted, we've talked about characters, and the best fights to me happen between characters that you love. Like when characters really respect each other. I'm not sure if you're into Toshiro Mifune, who is my favorite actor of all time. And he was Akira Kurosawa's like, it's like a certain
Oh,
director.
yes. He's like Seventh Samurai.
Yeah, so he's a samurai, and he starred in the Samurai trilogy, which is the telling of Musashi's story, Miyamoto Musashi, the author of the Book of Five Rings. It is the telling of his life, and the final battle in Samurai 3, between the beautiful samurai and Musashi is it's the entire series builds up to this, and it's just so amazing to like both of them so much and to see them when you know that they're dueling to the death and you like both of them and you don't want to see either die. It's just such an amazing feeling for me as an audience member because I sit here and I'm watching uh, an inevitable a choice for destruction that cannot be avoided because the
Yeah.
core principle, the honor, you are honor bound to a decision and a lifestyle, and that being
Yeah.
to it,
Yeah.
it is you are enacting your duty, and this is where the complexity comes because the complexity
Yeah.
that yeah, we could walk away from this, but if we walk away from this, are we walking away from our the structure of honor inside our hearts? And so to adhere to that structure, I have to battle you. And
Yeah.
I think at times that is an important choice. So it's really cool, and I'm hoping that we can have many more stories like with this level of depth on them on Justice for Hire. So this is really cool to me, and I just want to make sure that I'm anything I've said. Is there anything that seems like it's out of alignment with the character you're envisioning?
No, that exactly with the samurai, the honor, the code. I mean, like anything, when the samurai battles another samurai out of respect, after he's dead, he still respects his opponents. The code of the samurai. If you can't get it done, what happens? The seppuku. So things, the honor in that code. That's something where if there's no honor, then you're worthless in life. It doesn't mean anything. And so that's where I would say the honor really takes place. As for my character, the honor is just, and that code is very important. And that's why that's why I'm upfront with the other guys. Hey, it's great, we're friends. I get along with everybody. But if I'm given an assignment, we're not, you're still my friend. But if you're my way, and then I would have to. That's the code that I'm following. But at least I'm upfront with everybody, telling them, hey, if you're my way, I will have to kill you. If you're not, then okay, so be it. Let me do my mission. And I think that's where the honor and the code really could be a big deal with my character, is in stating, this is me, who I am. And there's no secret, but at the same time too, I have my assignment. That's what it is. You could call me a bad guy, a good guy, whatever that is, but that's my assignment.
Dude, I love it so much, and I'm just like how so in general, I have some notes here. And I think that in terms of being able to get um to get this next episode done, to be able to dive deeper into the character, I actually feel like we have what we need. We have, I'm just going to review these notes with you, and they're just bullet points.
Cool.
I'm happy to share them with you because what I would really love is if you can take these notes and write, 1 to 3 paragraphs of what this character's backstory is based on you, on what you're feeling. But so I'll share these notes with you. I'll text them to you. And let's see, Bentley, a gambler and bounty hunter, has no real personal connection, no love, no allegiances, self-centered. Family, born and raised, 18-year-old out of the house. Family said he's on his own. From a traditional household, discipline. Mom stayed at home, cooked and cleaned. Dad worked hard, talked about privilege. Ice cream and cookies are a privilege. When you're older, you create your own story. Older brother married with family and kids. This taught him to be self-made and independent. So nothing to hold him back. Fearless, like a kung fu series, he walks the earth alone and trains and has many friends throughout Asia, like a Buddhist monk warrior. Wants open-minded to relationship, but enjoys his freedom. Makes choices on that enjoyment. The 3 moments that we want people to connect with are partying, gambling, and traveling. And with gambling, he owns up to his losses with charm and honesty and gets out of predicaments with these skills. And traveling, his involvement with the Asian community, swim with tigers, Shinto temple in Japan, learned honor and discipline in Asia, and his word, honors his word, says it and does it. And I'll make the final note for JFH, meaning that for JFH, saw it as a gig app. Didn't mean to disrespect the platform, and will happily remove himself. But now he's on the radar as a villain in the community.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And will do what he has to do, and will fight whomever he needs to get his to accomplish his goals. How's that sound?
I like it. Kind of thinking about, like, did you see Top Gun Maverick?
Only the beginning part, the first maybe 30 minutes.
Okay, maybe. Okay, remember after he takes that supersonic plane in the beginning and then crashes it, and then after he's there with the admiral and so the main guy in charge, and he tells him Maverick, he's all, you're just only a 2-star captain. You should be an admiral by now or something, or a senator. And here you are, captain, something like that. And the reason why I like that character in that part is because his character is, he's happy. He could have been a higher ranking, that whole deal, but he was happy being the test flight guy. Just, he loves the airplanes. He doesn't want the responsibility of dealing with the other people or trying to make anyone else better. He's just happy doing his own thing, being the mechanic, the test fighter pilot. And then that's just a funny scene where, the admiral, whoever's in charge, tells him, you're just a captain. That's it. You should be a way higher rank. But he didn't want to take that opportunity because he chooses the freedom and the less responsibility. So I really like that part of the character a lot. That's how I feel.
Lower rank equals freedom and less responsibility.
Yeah, there you go. Could be the higher rank. I could get that black belt, but I don't. Not now. I want the less responsibility. So that kind of deal. I don't mind being the lower rank. It's not my goal to achieve that highest ranking. It's really not my goal. I maybe if it happens one day, I understand, but not my goal. It's just more, again, I enjoy the ride, making the friends, the connections, being involved with it, with the sports and the activities. But again, it's not my goal. Martial arts, like anything, many people join because the first thing a lot of people say is, I want to be a black belt. And in my case, and a lot of things, I don't want the black belt. I just want to be able to come to class, have fun, hang out with all the guys. And I've made relationships 20 years with a lot of people already. I'm happy with that. And again, I'm okay. I don't need the big responsibilities. I prefer freedom as my first choice for everything.
Dude, I just love this so much. I think that I'm just texting you right now the notes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and I can start working. I'll set it up on the app.
I just sent it. So
Okay,
yeah,
cool. There it is.
Please, take a moment, write something that would be a guideline for you that you can look at later on when you're doing the voiceover. And
yeah, I like that.
And the voiceover, like I said, you can record on your phone and send it to me, or I have a mic behind me that's pretty good quality, that if you were to come here, you'd be welcome and we could record you here directly.
Yeah, we could do that too. Yeah, I don't mind. That'd be cool.
So I definitely want to take, my intention. I was on the fence whether or not to push really hard this week to get this episode done for this coming weekend. And I think that we need to take time. And when I say time, I don't mean like, several weeks. I mean, like, let's take this week. You do your writing, send that, let me know when it's on the app, or share it to me before you put it on the app, and we can, workshop it, and then you can put it on the app.
Yeah.
And because when you put this stuff on the app, it inspires other people to do the same. So that's super helpful.
Yeah.
And based on that, we can dive deeper into, you can send me the videos, the photos and video from partying, gambling, and any backstory, just anything that you think is valuable. We'll sort through that. And because I really want to make sure that we don't look at these so much is going into the episodes. If you're looking at this stuff, I mean, you're seeing it. These aren't just like quick shorts, they're dense.
Yeah.
And they're dense, and if someone were to like pause the video at any given moment, you should be able to see character and story all over the frame. That's why we have the hero numbers, we have the hero names for people. You might see a note on screen that's kind of like a comic book style editor's note to the audience. So like for someone who's really, for the fandom that actually wants to study this stuff at some point, they're going to find a lot of stuff in there. So I want to make sure that we take our time, the appropriate amount of time to just make something rich with this short fight. It's literally like maybe 4 techniques, 2 techniques between you and Dredd. But these 4 techniques, 5, maybe 5. These techniques, I think, are just going to bridge us to so many different places in the story, and they're going to make people want to learn more. So please let me know if you can crank. Is that something you can crank out this week? That paragraph, 1 to 3 paragraphs?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So based on what you send me, we'll figure out what the next steps are for like the AI processing and all this other stuff. And obviously, where most of the work is going to be like done traditionally through editing, etc. And we'll figure out what the voiceover is for next week, and maybe sometime and then we can record the voiceover, and if not next week, it'd be the week after, but let's figure it out, and let's make sure we put it on the schedule.
Even probably next week, because Christmas, right after Christmas, it's nice because there's not too much traffic, things are kind of calm, like you can kind of get around, especially something in the daytime or whatever. In the morning, I'm a morning person, so you can do that.
Amazing. Yeah, so you'd be totally welcome to come here, and we'll put something down that feels right. So let's plan for that. Let's plan for that, and we'll go for it. And so we'll make sure we take our time and make a really cool contribution to martial arts cinema with this, brother.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for taking time here. And of course, for anyone who's
Oh
watching,
no, it's awesome. This light was just getting too hot. That's why I turned it down.
I know, yeah. But anyone who's watching, justiceforhire.app, got the shirt on, Justice for Hire. So just
Very cool.
join the cinematic universe, make a show with us, people worldwide, building the story, building their own story. Bentley's a great example of
Yeah, you know what? And hopefully the goal is next year. I'll start traveling again. So let's say I hit Asia next year. Maybe do something outside, for Justice for Hire. In Asia, do a quick film, something, wherever I can. But I definitely that's something I really want to do.
that would be massively helpful. All these little bits like tie together. As long as we know what the story is
Yeah.
for ourselves, we can build with all the footage. So thank you, man.
Yeah.
And congratulations on all the I see you making all this wonderful
Oh, thanks. Yeah, seriously. And I got an agent now. And it's crazy. I have 2 agents. I never thought in my life I'd have 2 agents. It just kind of happened. And it's funny. It comes in spurts. One day, nothing. And the next day I get like 5 from each one auditions. And, just for me to get an audition, I already feel like, wow, I got an audition. So again, I get many auditions. Doesn't mean I got all the roles or anything like that. But even just to have an audition, I really am flattered with that. Just to be able to say, and like anything, it's a learning process. So let's see. I did a movie, played a bad guy, like Cartel Mafia. That was fun. So I don't know when that comes out, but hopefully soon. And I did a movie already playing a gambler. So it's all fun. Now it's just you have to wait till, like anything, post-production takes forever. And again, let's see what the new year brings along. I'm excited for whatever comes around.
Dude, hey man, I'm honored to collaborate with you. Very proud to know you, and thank you for all the great contributions so far, and for doing this with us with me today. So and for all of you watching after the fact. So love you, man. Have a wonderful evening, and I'm gonna get back on.
Hey, you too, bro. Yeah. God bless. Really appreciate it. And yeah, anytime. I'll work on that draft then on the paragraphs. And again, text, call whenever you want. And then as well too, I'm going to work on the little snippets, like what to send you and stuff. And yeah, we'll get moving.
Thank you, man. Okay, have a great night, brother.
Hey, have a good night.
Love you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.